This is a special edition of WeatherScope with the latest winter storm update.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Sharon Result, and we're broadcasting live from the Forecast Center of the Weather Channel this evening, updating you on our very latest big storm that's moving on through and affecting this go-around a good chunk of the deep south. A lot of the southeast getting some freezing rain and some icy conditions causing a lot of travel headaches. Let's show you first a satellite picture, and you'll get a good view for how much of the country this particular storm is affecting. And you can see that the moisture is now spreading into the northeast. That after 15 inches of snow fell around Seaford, Delaware. Well, we are expecting to see some more snow in parts of the northeast, and we'll highlight that in a moment. But also look at the cold air extending on southward. So cold, in fact, that it's dipping down into the single digits below zero as far south as Kansas this evening. Some very, very chilly temperatures. We'll take a look at some of those readings here, and we'll find it is now 20 below in the Twin Cities, 11 below in Chicago, and it's 32 in Atlanta, Georgia. We're getting some reports of a few flakes of snow out there, and just off to the west, mixing with the snow, some freezing rain. So some very treacherous travel in the south. You add the winds and associate that with the temperatures, and that's how we get the wind chill. Wind chills at this time in the dangerous category heading into the northernmost portions of Minnesota, but we're finding wind chills anywhere from 45 below. And in some parts, even in the Badger State, we've located some wind chills as low as 60 degrees below zero. So some very, very dangerously cold conditions. And make sure your car is in very good working order before you head out and about. What you're seeing now are the wind chill forecasts as we head on into tomorrow. So if you didn't have to jump start the car this morning, you may have to by tomorrow morning, as the battery can only take so much. We're going to take you now up into Washington, D.C., where Jill Brown is standing in wind chills in the single digits below zero. Jill, what can you tell us about what's going on there?
Well, Sharon, we are now getting about a fourth hour of light snow, and yet we've only had maybe an inch of accumulation. As a matter of fact, we checked in with National Airport, and at last check they said they've had a half inch or a little more of dry, light snow. It's blowing around. They've sanded the runways, and they're doing fine. As a matter of fact, most of the departures for the evening have already departed. We haven't seen too many planes coming overhead as of late, and they are still basically running on schedule, so that's great news out of the airports. Now, the roadways may not be looking so great. They're now snow-covered rather than wet, and as the snow picks up during the late evening hours and overnight, it's likely to get worse. But a lot of folks, I think, at this point are home and ready to stay put for the night because traffic has really slowed down. So by tomorrow morning, we're likely to have anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of new snow on the ground. Fortunately, it's going to be Saturday morning, so a lot of folks will not have to head out. And then by the time they're ready to go back out on Monday morning to work or school, things ought to be back to normal, just cold.
Let's hope so. Okay, we're going to come back to you a little bit later in the evening. Thanks, Jill. Let's take you now on into Atlantic City, an area further to the north and east that had to deal with some wintertime precipitation. It was not a good day for a walk on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. We got a couple of inches of snow in the morning and then a break about midday. Driving conditions were really messy all over the Jersey Shore. Well, let's show you what's going on as we quickly take you on into a radar picture here. And a lot of this isn't actually reaching the ground. New York City not receiving any precipitation, nor is Hartford. But as Jill mentioned earlier, around D.C., a little bit of light snow around this location, and you go a little bit further south, we're actually seeing a little bit of rain or even some freezing rain, so that is basically the problem there. Let's go to it and go a little bit closer in here. We'll show you around the Richmond area, some freezing rain has been falling. Temperatures there in the middle 20s. Around Charlottesville, reports of some snow, and around Lynchburg, some snow mixing with some sleet at times, so some definite problems across this particular area. We're going to take you now a little bit further out to the south and west into Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, where Jeff Morrow is standing by, and he's going to give us the very latest on what's been happening just to the southeast of Nashville. Jeff?
Yeah, Sharon, it's a cold night here across Middle Tennessee. Some of that Arctic air definitely has plunged well to the south. You can well understand why we're getting the snow and the sleet so far south with this storm. It's because of this big, huge Arctic air mass which keeps pushing its way south. Snow across central parts of the state of Tennessee really varied, anywhere from about a half inch to an inch just north of Nashville to some really heavy amounts of 10 to 12 inches on over toward the town of McMinnville.
It was a day when Mother Nature won. The heavy snow left dozens of cars and trucks stuck spinning their wheels.
Can't get no traction at this. There's so much ice underneath, snow on top, we just can't get no traction.
Mike Zeal left his truck overnight in this parking lot. Now he's unable to get it out.
It's something here, if you just get out here and keep working at it and working at it and working at it, you can get out. But It might take you 4 or 5 hours to tractor, but it's just something you got to do.
LaDonna Edie started shoveling snow to make sure she could get out of her house. She has a sick relative, and she's worried about being stranded.
I wasn't able to get in very easily. I got stopped, and I just gonna make sure I can get out. We still got to go to the grocery store.
The storm shut down McMinnville, and almost all of its businesses are closed. People just stayed home. That's what the sheriff recommended.
We need to stay at home if there's any way possible. It would be, you know, a lot easier on all of us if there wasn't quite as much traffic.
And we do have some traffic out here on the roadways tonight. We are not in McMinnville. That place pretty inaccessible right now, well east of Nashville, but we are near Murfreesboro along Interstate 24. This isn't the interstate. This is a feeder highway to the interstate. The traffic pretty good. A lot of 18-wheelers out and a lot of folks, particularly with four-wheel drive. But it is real cold and a lot of batteries kind of taking the worst of it tonight. And I think that'll be the case right on into tomorrow. Sharon?
Okay, Jeff, thank you very much for that report. We'll check back with you in a little bit. Let's take you a little bit further to the west, and we'll show you what's been happening actually around the Monteagle area of Tennessee. It's actually just north and have really ended across middle Tennessee. We're still working with some light snow heading into eastern parts of the state, but for the most part, the heavy stuff is now east of I-65. Still not recommending any travel east of 65 throughout the state of Tennessee. There's a look at your very latest map here as far as the radar is concerned, and you'll get a good view here when I show you where we have our rain-snow line, with Raleigh still reporting some frozen precipitation in the form of mainly some freezing rain. Asheville now completely over to snow, and seeing a mixture of rain and snow as we work our way back out into Alabama. So going to be looking at some very treacherous travel here over much of the southeast, heading on into the evening hours and on into tomorrow morning as well. We're going to be back. We'll tell you a little bit more about what you can expect temperature-wise for the remainder of your weekend coming up.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Around the rest of the country, there is other weather going on. Of course, the severe cold temperatures over the northern and central plains, severe wind chills now around Mosinee in Wisconsin near Wausau. The wind chill at 64 below zero at this time, so extremely cold wind chills. Around Aurora, Illinois, the wind chill is at 60 below zero right now. There's a winter storm or a winter weather advisory out for parts of the Texas-Oklahoma panhandle due to some light snow falling there. Wind chills tonight will also be severely cold, around 20 to 30 below zero. Let's look at your forecast, starting with tomorrow morning. That low pressure area bringing the heavy snow and the ice storm and the cold temperature. Heaviest amounts of snow, an additional 6 to 12 inches, especially over the mountains of Virginia. You'll probably get the brunt of it.
Michelin enough to get you through anything. The LTX series from Michelin.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
Why does your automobile need an oxygen sensor?
It does.
When life calls for deeper answers, enter CompuServe, the online service with deeper content. Call for free software.
To get to the Weather Channel forum on CompuServe, go TWC Forum.
And now your local forecast. Accurate, convenient, and dependable. Only on the Weather Channel.